Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, and you guys know the drill. So, anyway, I just kind of wanted to. I feel like we need to switch gears a little bit and focus just a little bit on the global side of the game, right? Because this is actually really, really good news. So as far as I can tell, now I've obviously seen nothing in the news, nothing like that. I'm not a Bandai spy. It just seems as though with this last data download, more than likely we got these. They're just waiting to put them, actually drop them in game. So these are the new missions for the Legendary Goku event. Now, these are obviously not like official, so shout out to Luca39 on the DBZ Dokkan Battle subreddit for posting this. And this is from 3 months ago. So complete each phase of Goku and he will give rewards. So basically there are, I think, 8 teams or so? Let's see. There's Realm of Gods 1, Movie Heroes 2, Enhanced Transformation 3, Pure Saiyan 4, Movie Bosses 5, Hybrid Saiyans 6, Patara 7, Fusion 8, Full Power 9, Universal Survival Saga 10. Okay, so 10, excuse me. Now, some of these are going to be quite easy, and then others are going to be quite challenging. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through some potential teams that you could use for these missions. Now, I'll just, again, I always have to say this, but this kind of stuff, now, you can beat this completely free to play, but not with all of these teams. This is one of those situations where you are going to have you're going to need to have a relatively stacked Dokkan account. It just kind of is what it is. Like, some of these categories are a little sparse with the defensive stacking units, like in particular, like movie bosses or something like that. There's not too many on the movie heroes team. Actually, there are 2 new ones, but anyway, we'll go over this actually right now. So I'll go ahead and hop into the global side. So here we are. This is just the first one I went with. So this is the Realm of Gods one. Now, I think in an ideal world, you would want your leader to be Zamasu. Now, it might be a good idea if you don't have Zamasu, like me, unfortunately. A side note, I got completely just blasted on that banner. I've never gone so deep on a banner than the Trunks banner. And I think for me, it was a super deep banner. Like, I think I went 800 stones or something crazy, and tickets, and I ended up pulling 1 singular Trunks with a single summon ticket. That's all I got from that banner. Everything else I basically already had rainbowed. So anyway, guys, this is going to be one of those stages that I would say is a little tougher. It's going to be difficult to overcome UI Goku. So specifically, this UI Goku transforms into this UI Goku, and that occurs when you fall 50% or below HP, or is it below 50% HP? It's one of the two, but anyway, yeah, 50% or below, so there you go. Now, it's not impossible, for sure, it's not impossible. You're gonna have to float him off. Oh, not that. You're gonna have to float UI Goku off of rotation, and that's not a big deal, because you got a lot of other solid units here. Now, this guy, I feel as though he could easily be replaced. He hits so hard that I thought that it was worth it to just bring him along. I do have a dupe in him. I'm going to be able to do additionals and crits. So I just figure he's going to be a really nice option. And I'm going to link him up with him, because we've been through this before. But when you get him linked up with this guy, they share Godly Power, Warrior Gods, Super Saiyan, Over in a Flash, and Fierce Battle. I mean, it's crazy, right? Crazy. So that's like, I think it's 50% attack and 3 key. You basically can't find better linking partners than that. So anyway, and then you can definitely run, Vegito Blue, and you could substitute the Tech Vegito Blue. They both stack. I find him to be a little more consistent. You just can't count on the other one to get you, 3 or 4 super attacks every single time. So in the beginning, he's going to be, you know, kind of getting hit hard. And then if you haven't got him enough stacks of his defense on super attack, then he's going to be getting blasted by the UI Gokus. And then Evolution Blue Vegeta, just as always, like a solid choice. And again, he could easily be replaced by, let's see, let's put on the tag, Realm of Gods. So there is this guy. If you're looking for a different Blue Vegeta, this guy is actually better than the Evolution Blue Vegeta. I just so happen to put on Evolution Blue because he's been on 100 banners. I mean, this guy's been on 100 banners too, but, you know, he's a Dokkan Fest. Anyway, you could do either. I don't want to spend too much time on this video. Another solid choice on Realm of Gods would be this guy. Again, we've been over him before. I won't go into great detail about him, but he greatly stacks defense. Only he and I believe one other unit in the game greatly stacks infinitely, and that is like Super Mira, who the global side of the game has never really had a fair shot to get because he's never been featured on a banner. He's only been unfeatured 2 times on the Dragon Ball Heroes banners. Jiren's aight, you know, he's decent. He's got 130% attack and defense. I probably wouldn't rock Topo. Goku Black, this guy, I would just run the Int one. I mean, straight up. This guy is good for if you can get him past Int UI Goku. But if you're only getting him 5 and 6 Key Spheres, he's going to get just annihilated by STR UI Goku, just is what it is. This guy is good. Obviously, I don't know why I don't have him awakened yet. I guess I've just been lazy. I don't have really that many Elder Kais to put into him and use him. But once I pull dupes, I will for sure be using him. But let's kind of look at his, if you have this dude. He dodges, you can't seal, so that's irrelevant, but he's providing allies Key 2 and defense 70%, and he's got a high chance of evading. Now, this doesn't apply, but also he gets an attack buff and Key 5 when you're facing an extreme class enemy. So, of course, very, very handy. This guy, super good, but we'll go over them a little later. So, that's the Realm of Gods. There's, obviously, you can see you have a lot of units you can use. So that one shouldn't be too bad. You should be able to overcome your deficiencies. So next is the movie heroes. And again, you're seeing a little bit of crossover. So of course, Gogeta is on the Realm of Gods team. And you could easily rock him on either team. He's good on any team you run him on for this reason. He's got Fused Fighter, Over in a Flash, Prepared for Battle. It doesn't really get much better than that. And then of course, he's got Warrior Gods, Fierce Battle, and Super Saiyan 2. Well, you know, Super Saiyan also. So he's got a ton of attack links, a ton of key links, guaranteed crits, 50% chance to dodge, which is going to be extremely useful up until UI Goku. The movie heroes, these guys are basically the same. This guy and this guy from ROF. So they stack attack and defense on Super and their orb changers, and they're getting attack and defense plus 20% or with different type orbs, or attack and defense 30% if it's their same type orbs. And if I didn't mention it, they change Key Spheres as well to their color. So they make a solid rotation. Just be prepared. They do step on one another's toes a little bit sometimes with that orb changing. I do want to include as many free-to-play options as possible. This dude, believe it or not, I beat Movie Heroes, the Legendary Goku event, without the 2 new awakenings, the Goku and the Vegeta. And this guy was a big part of that. He actually has Blazing Battle, which is super, super nice for the unit we're going to go over next. So when there's a Goku's family category enemy, he's getting an additional attack and category ally on the team. You're going to be getting an additional attack and defense 50%. So that's really, really nice, which obviously we have on here. We got a bunch of them. So, and obviously you can see he infinitely stacks defense. Very cool. And he would link up with this guy, or these guys, if you will. We've been over them before, but basically they're going to be really, really good. They're going to help you tear through the event. You know, people seem to forget, like with tech units, there are 3 AGL phases. So you do have to get to Int UI Goku. So before you get to him, there's a lot of work to be done. And these guys are going to dominate in all of those other, whatever it is, 6 or 7 phases. These guys are going to dominate. And then it's just as simple as just float them off. Take them off rotation when you get to Int UI Goku, and you should be fine because you got a lot of other stacking units. Now, these guys, more than likely, I would say almost a guarantee, you will drop below 50% HP at some point. This guy offers you a full heal. He causes colossal damage, and then on his, he actually lowers, he lowers attack and defense, but he lowers defense specifically on the Legendary Goku event because Int UI Goku, his attack can't be lowered. So he's going to be really, really nice. Obviously has that type advantage. Yep. Oh yeah, and attack's effective against all types, of course. So, and then attack and defense 150. I mean, what the hell, dude? And then he gets key 3 on Rainbow Key Spheres. So that's the movie hero team. So we can kind of see if there are some other options here. There are a few, but this is one of those ones that are going to be... Where's movie heroes? Oh, here we go. There are other options, but to be quite honest, they're sort of kind of limited. I think you could rock this dude if you have him rainbowed. I think he's got enough defense. He stacks defense for 3 turns. So he should be at least up over 100,000. And you could link him up. You could either float him, or you could link him up with Gohan and Goten, because, of course, they have Blazing Battle. So that's a huge, huge attack link for Gohan and Goten. Who else could you use? There's really no other infinitely stacking units. Let's see. I feel like that's about what you'd want to do. I feel like Tapion could be effective as well. He has 50% damage mitigation, which is always solid, and 10,000 defense is not terrible. So, and obviously he's got that potential to transform. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. So, yeah, reduces damage received, and then after he transforms, and you're below 50% HP, he's going to get attack 150%. So there you go. He's actually really, really a solid unit. He's been around for a while, and he's aged quite well. Tech Tapion I don't think would hold up. Int Gogeta is not going to really hold up. I think this is one of your more limited teams. You could rock Super Gogeta. Well, actually, you can't really, because there's Super Gogeta, and then you are Super Saiyan Gogeta. Okay, so you can. You could rock Gogeta. He at least does enough damage to where you could justify rocking him. I would at least recommend having a couple dupes in him, though. And then this guy is going to get his Easy A very soon. Actually, in like 2 days, he'll be getting his Easy A. You could definitely rock him as well. He's insane. So let's kind of move on. I don't want to spend too much time. This is already a long video. So this is the Pure Saiyans team. Now this team is going to have the most versatility of any team there is. So let's find them real quick. This is already such a long video. So we'll go quickly. So, some of these units, like, again, here are these units. A lot of these units are going to be synonymous on a ton of different teams, because there are only so many stacking units in the game, right? So this guy is going to be highly effective. If you don't have, well, okay, you probably should have him, but if you kind of overlook him, which, I mean, I think a lot of people do, he's got type advantage against the hardest phase, the Int UI Goku. He gets Key +1 at the start of each turn, and attack 60% when there's a Goku's family category enemy. And then attack and defense 90% when performing a super attack, Key +6 and defense 60 when HP is 60% or less. And of course, he's stacking attack and defense. So just overall, he's really good. He's prepared for battle unit. That's obviously going to fit in quite well on a Pure Saiyans team. This dude I would probably not recommend. He actually is effective if he's on like a Time Travelers or whatever. I mean, you have to just prioritize putting him in the first slot. So he'd have to be a main rotation unit. I guess he wouldn't. He would probably be a good choice. He would. So yeah, you can get him linked up with another Shattering the Limit or a Prepared for Battle unit. He doesn't have a ton of attack links. He's got, what, Fear and Faith, right? No, that's Key Link. Brutal Beatdown's what I'm thinking of. So there's not a ton of units that you're going to be able to do that with. But anyway, he'd be all right. Don't use this guy. His passive runs up after 10 turns. As much as you'd want to use him and think he's good, he's not great for that event. This Goku, of course, you know, at this point, with no other Dragon Ball Heroes units on the team, he would only be getting 7% damage reduction. And obviously his stunning isn't really effective, but he gets guard against all types, and he gets attack and defense, so that's really solid. If you ran him, I guess you could then put Cumber on the team, and then you'd at least get him a little more damage reduction. Kale infinitely stacks defense. Oh, she stacks attack and defense. And she actually does a crazy amount of super attacks against a pure Saiyan or a Peppy Gal, and of course, well, all of the Gokus are pure Saiyans, of course. So she's gonna get additional super attacks and stuff. So Universal Survival Saga, excuse me. So there you go. So she would, in theory, she could launch, I think, 4 super attacks. So she could get it just in general. She could get her. She could. Okay, so let's see. If you're up against a Universal Survival Saga, which would be STR and Int UI Goku, she'll get a guaranteed additional. And then against Pure Saiyan, which they are both, she would then get another guaranteed additional. So I think she could do potentially, 3 super attacks. So there you go. Oh yeah, and then from her potential system, so she could potentially do 4 in the last 2 phases of the event. She'd actually be a really solid choice. Assuming you have at least a dupe and then SA10 and all of that. As far as anyone else, actually, Int Kid Goku, he doesn't, he's actually really good. He gets defense the lower your HP is. You're going to struggle, though, getting his main attack link. So, the Incredible Adventure. Well, that's a key link. What am I thinking of? Guidance of the Dragon Balls, excuse me. You're going to struggle getting that, but he would at least share Fierce Battle. And Kamehameha, probably, with some of the units. I wouldn't recommend Tech Broly. I mean, you guys can sort of kind of figure it out. Any of these tech units are probably not the greatest of options. This SS3 Goku, if you have a dupe or 2 in him, he'd be solid. He's got high enough defense where he would be good, and he gets a big defensive buff at the start of the turn. Just try to avoid that 18-key super, unless, of course, he's guarded by, and just, if you do the 18-key super, make sure no one's attacking him in the next slot. Broly, definitely good choice. Who else? I would say that's probably it. Transforming Goku, of course, we've already been over. Don't do him. Again, he's one of those units where his passive runs out. He does get defense, so I guess he wouldn't be a horrible choice if he had no one else. And he's got a super high defensive stat. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So there we go. There's Pure Saiyans. And then, I mean, I've already gone over them. They're obviously super, super good. I may use my red coins on the SS2 banners for them. I haven't decided yet. Now, this is the Enhanced Transformation or the Transformation Boost team. It just so happens that all of these units are on Transformation Boost, so they would, of course, count, right? So I can't recommend using STR Boo. He's just so unimpressive, and I imagine not a lot of people even have him. So I mean, we've gone over some of these units. This dude is the absolute best of the best for this event. He double stacks attack and defense for the first, I think, 7 or 8 turns. He's just so good. Now on this team in particular, you wouldn't be able to get his transformation, but I mean, you could easily just do, let's just say this. If you do the full transformation boost team, you actually could get, this guy as well. You could get him on that team, and he'd be a good choice. You can't get him on this particular variation because he's not in the Future Saga. So anyway, guys, let's kind of go over some other units. Janemba, for sure, a good choice. He will get hit sort of hard once you get to Int UI Goku, but, again, he's going to tear through the rest of the event. Oh boy, yeah, LRCL, of course, he's got that potential to heal us. He's pretty good defensively as well. Buhan, no way, gets hit way too hard. A lot of these units just get hit way too hard. This dude gets hit insanely hard, even though he himself can hit hard. he's just not worth running. I guess you could say Broly. You know, he'll be good once you get to Int UI Goku, but I have 0 dupes in mine, so I can't crit. So I probably would avoid using him if it were me. And then who else? We've been over Int UI. If you absolutely have no other choice and you have to run STR Buu as your leader, try your best to get the Piccolo. He's going to be the best defensively. So he's going to at least greatly raise his defense, and he's going to heal you 15%. And then he's giving defense and ki to the rotation. So he's so hard to get, though. I think you have to be under 30% or 30%, 49%. What is it? Yeah, 49% HP or below from the 5th turn. It's so hard to control that transformation. I really don't like that unit. But again, this guy would be a good choice. Infinitely stacks attack and defense. He's one of the better units for this event. Now, if you get him below 50% HP and you're up against Int UI Goku, you might be in trouble. So in that case, just float him off. Probably wouldn't recommend Baby. Although he'd be good, at least you'd be up against a pure Saiyan enemy. So he would get an extra, 3 ki and 50% HP, or 50% attack and defense. Yeah. So he'd be good. You just can't use one of his primary things, and that's lowering attack. So Goku, Int UI, STR UI, and Tech UI can't have their attack lowered. Or Tech UI. You know what I mean, Tech God Goku. Oh, and Blue Goku. I can't forget Blue Goku. So any of these other units, right here, we could have rocked him as well. Transforming Goku. I mean, you guys know the deal. As you can see, there's just a ton of units that are like the same. Now this guy, one of the better leaders you can use for this. The Future Saga is really good, but also he's got, of course, that 120 to superclass units. So that means we're able to rock him because he's a Future Saga, and we're able to rock a lot of super type units. So there you go. That's the enhanced transformation. This is full power, and again, there's a ton of units you can use for full power as well. This is one of those teams. There's not really anything that really holds this team together until we get STR Omega Shenron. He provides key attack and defense, I believe, and he reduces attack, which doesn't matter for this event, particularly in those upper levels of the event. What am I looking for? Full power, right? So, and then full power and movie bosses, again, are going to have a lot of similar type of units. So there you go. There's a lot of the units. You know, Bojack would probably be pretty good, assuming you... I mean, he's an older LR for sure, but again, he's got that thing where he gets defense as his HP gets lower. Let's see. Transforming Frieza's okay. Try and make sure when you build him, give him more additional. Prioritize additional, because you're going to want him to get at least 1 or 2 additional super attacks. Goku Frieza, not going to be real effective, because again, one of their primary mechanics is lowering attack. And you cannot lower attack, as I've said 100 times already. So there you have it, guys. That's kind of the full power team. I don't think really there's a ton of other units other than the ones we've been over already. You know, this guy. Oh, this guy would be solid as well. He infinitely stacks attack and defense. He's a free-to-play option too. He'd definitely be a good choice. Tech Golden Frieza we've been over. When he gets his Easy A, he would probably be good, although he doesn't stack. At the very least, I believe he massively lowers defense, so he'd be a good choice. Vegeta, we've been over, so let's see. We'll leave it at that. So there's the full power team. Oh, DBZ Broly, he basically, at the very least, gets 2 super attacks every turn, and he stacks attack, defense, and crit. He stacks crit up to 40%, 2% each super attack. So that's really, really nice. This is the Hybrid Saiyans team. I cannot recommend. The only one getting Trunks' full buff is this guy and, of course, himself. This guy is a very solid free-to-play option. When you have a Goku's Family category ally in your team, or or no, that's the other one. When you get 5 key spheres, this dude could potentially perform 3 super attacks. And then with his potential system, he could potentially launch 4 super attacks. So that's really, really cool, right? Okay, so he's good, and he can stack his defense up pretty quick. You just have to get him a lot of key spheres. I just included LRB Pan. I mean, you could probably... She's a really nice healer. You know, you're not going to be able to utilize her ability to stun. But I think that... And then if she gets her guard active, you know, she's very, very good defensively. So yeah, high chance of reducing. So that's a 50% chance, which is unfortunate. But hey, she's a free-to-play LR, of course. I've mentioned this guy. We don't need to go over many more units there. This is the Patara team. Now, this one is interesting because you just straight up do not have a ton of options. Let's kind of just look at the Patara team real quick. So let's go here, Patara. There's just not a ton of options, as you can see. I would just recommend, if you use this guy, he's going to be good. Just make sure you get him his 18 key super, because then he'll stack defense by 30% for 6 turns instead of just 3 turns. And you have to make sure he gets hit a bunch of times. So he gets attack 30% with each attack received, up to 120%. So on an LR, he can hit I mean, that's very, very hard. 120% of 21,000's a lot. Who else could you use? You could use him, Candy Vegito. You got to make sure, man, that you spec him to do additional attacks, though, because you're going to need to stack his defense very, very high, because he has 0% chance of dodging in that last phase. But otherwise, he'll be pretty effective. Again, there's Zamasu and Gawasu. They'd be a solid choice. He gets hit extremely hard, although he's a very, very good support unit. But you have this guy here, infinitely stacks attack and defense. This guy here infinitely stacks defense. And then this Dragon Ball Heroes unit I kind of forgot about. But he infinitely stacks defense as well. So he just straight up gets attack and defense 70%. And he gets a chance of performing a critical hit with each super attack performed. So it would be a good idea if you pulled dupes to go ahead and just give him additionals. And then, of course, you can launch an additional super attack when the target enemy is in attack down, which isn't going to matter. Oh, defense down as well. So he's actually going to be a really good choice. He can do up to 3 super attacks. So he was actually a really solid buff to the Patara team. Of course, you know, Tech Vegito Blue. I would say anyone else is probably a no-go. If you have a lot of resources invested in her, she massively raises defense for 1 turn. She'd be good. I just have nothing in her right now until I get Kai's, and I only pulled 1 copy. Ooh, Kefla, that would be tough. To get her through STR, UI Goku that would be tough. And she's only getting 12% per key sphere obtained. It's just rough. Now, she is an orb changer, so that, of course, is a great thing. But again, she'll be good against UI Goku, and basically that's it. So if you can hide her, I guess, you know, if she's your only option, you know, there you go. This guy will be getting his EZA soon, and I would imagine he'd be very stellar on this team. So we have a couple more teams to go through, so BRB. Hey, what is up? So here we are again. Now these last 2, straight up, they're going to be the toughest runs. They're going to take you the longest. So this is probably the team I would run for Universal Survival Saga. And not many other units are going to be quite as useful as these guys. So, I mean, again, we've been over this guy. Greatly raises attack infinitely. Now, on this particular team, he does not have the potential to do the Spirit Bomb. So we could reformat the team to do that. We would just need 1 more unit. This guy is going to be an essential on this team. This is where this Bergadmo, this is where he's going to shine the most, is in this Legendary Goku event. So he's basically getting attack and defense 30% up to 300% every time he gets hit, up to 10 times. So, up to 300%. And on top of that, he's stacking defense for 9 turns. When you have him linked up with like Android 17, and Android 17 is providing key and defense to the rotation, he just cannot be harmed. So this guy, him stacking defense, him getting key from Android 17, him getting defense from Android 17, he's just gonna be, just a beast, right? Like I said, a damn near essential on this team. We already went over Kale. She could potentially do, 4 super attacks against the last 2 phases. Jiren, his primary ability is useful in Super Battle Road, where he stuns the whole rotation. But, attack and defense 130 is pretty good. And then Blue Vegeta. Now, if we wanted to, what we could do is substitute Jiren for another rep of Universe 7. So, Goku Frieza. 18, she's actually pretty good. She stacks defense by 30% for 6 turns, and she has a nuking type passive. So defensively, she's quite good. And as far as anyone else, man, there's not a ton of depth on this team. There's just not. So if you wanted to reformat the team where you could get the Spirit Bomb, I'd probably put in UI Goku, and then there you go. Now you can rock the Spirit Bomb. And then this last team, so that's the Universal Survival. This last team, the Fusion team is so limited. Let's kind of check out the Fusion team real quick. This is going to be the toughest run you do by a mile until we get some more buffs to it. So obviously, when year 5 rolls around in July, yeah, if you pull Gogeta, of course, these guys are going to carry you, for sure. And at the very least, you can rock 2 of them and get 2 full heals. But man, that is about it. You've got Gogeta, you got STR Gogeta. There's just not a ton of units that are good defensively. There's literally no units on this team that quote-unquote stack defense on super attack. So when this guy gets his EZA in the middle of the month, he's actually quite good. He can get up to defense defense up to 120%, and that starts at 30%, I think. So, essentially he stacks defense on his passive for like 4 turns. So, I mean, he's good. And he can hit like a truck too. So he's good. I like Seal Tanks. He'll probably be, again, one of those really good options. But when you get up to STR UI, boy, oh boy, you're in trouble. You better hope you haven't used one single item, because you may legitimately need them all. Again, not a really great choice for this event. At the very least, he can lower defense. And he will hit very, very hard. Especially against Int UI, but you got to get him through STR UI. That's going to be the toughest part. So, unless any of these guys miraculously get easy A's, I don't see a lot of other choices. I mean, you tell me. I don't know. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, again, I mean, he's good, of course, and he stacks, he gets a defensive buff on super attack. But against Int UI, man, I mean, you're absolutely dead if you get hit by a super attack. I mean, he'll probably be getting hit for 60 or 70k on normals or something crazy. It's just crazy, right? He does have that high chance of evading and then countering. But again, Int UI Goku disables that. So what do you really do? This one I'm going to have to play with a little bit, this team, because I don't know how you can even get this done, to be honest. This is probably the team I'll rock. And it may have to be after Seal Tanks gets his EZA. But anyway, guys, I know this has been an insanely long video, and I apologize, but I just wanted to go through all of the teams that you could potentially run. And again, we were going through 10 different teams. So this team also, so just to note, Broly also leads movie bosses. We didn't go over movie bosses, but we've been over enough of these units to kind of see. I guess let's just do it real quick. So let's go over movie bosses real quick. You're going to at least have better options, right? So you could easily do this, Tech Golden Frieza, Janemba. I mean, there you go right there. I feel like those guys alone could probably win you the event. Oop, not you. This Broly is good. Turles would be good up until about Int UI. I mean, geez, from there, oh, Bojack. I mean, this is good enough to, like, get the job done. But there you guys have it. That is all of the teams, all 10 teams in one convenient video. So go ahead and skip around if you guys need to. Go back and watch again if you need to. But if you guys like this kind of video, go ahead and slap a like on the video. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what I can do to specifically. Let me know what I can do to this team. I for real am just stuck. I do not know how to build that team any better. And also consider subscribing if you're new. I'm bringing you guys content every single day. And I love all you guys. Thank you for the support, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.